As we just learned, distracted driving is anything that takes your focus away from driving. Do you see any distractions here that you didn't think about before? In this course, our focus is on the distractions caused by cell phones and other electronic devices. We asked commercial drivers, what do you use your cell phone for?
I usually use my phone for text messaging, social media, check my email.
I like to post photos on Instagram, and I use Twitter like the news.
I use it for music, and if I know I'm gonna be staying in a place for a long time, I will have a couple of movies over there on the phone. So
a lot of times I use my phone to check for delays, check for traffic, maybe hazards.
Yeah, I usually check the weather. I want to make sure I don't need to put chains on in the wintertime especially.
I listen to music, I watch videos, I'll text my kids to let them know I'm safe and at my destination.
Cell phones are a huge convenience in our everyday lives. But when used behind the wheel, they can become extremely dangerous distractions. So what does cell phone distraction look like?
It's epidemic. Truckers on major New York highways texting or talking on the phone. On the BQE, this trucker appears more focused on texting than driving. On the Major Deegan, a truck driver, along with his co-workers, is looking down, texting, eyes focused on his phone, not the road. This big rig trucker on the LIE, obviously distracted, dialing up someone to talk to as he rolls along the busy highway. One of the worst cases we observed, this driver engaged in dual distraction as he talks on two phones, carrying on two conversations. On any highway where we set up our camera, we easily caught truckers dialing, texting, and talking on their phones. Illegal for sure, and potentially deadly.
These examples are from the New York area, but you can look at any highway in the nation and see similar behavior. Let's review a few news stories from other states about crashes involving distracted commercial drivers. Our first story comes from Kentucky, where a truck driver was driving along I-64. He crashed into a Jeep, killing one passenger and injuring another. The driver was watching a video on his cell phone at the time of the crash. He was charged with second-degree manslaughter, second-degree assault, and first-degree wanton endangerment, meaning he showed extreme indifference to the value of human life. In Pennsylvania, a semi-driver drove through a red light, crashed into a car, and killed a 9-year-old boy. The driver admitted to sending and receiving text messages at the time of the crash. He pleaded guilty to charges of vehicular homicide and aggravated assault. In Texas, a bus driver with 42 passengers on board crashed into a stalled pickup truck with its emergency flashers on. The driver of the pickup was seriously injured and their passenger was killed. The bus driver was looking down at his cell phone at the time of the crash. He was charged with manslaughter and aggravated assault. Different states, different incidents involving commercial drivers distracted by their cell phones, all with tragic outcomes. What is leading to the increase in distracted driving? Part of it is the increased use of our cell phones. There are now more cell phone subscriptions than people in the US. We average 1.2 wireless devices for every person in the country. There are over 12.5 million commercial trucks and buses registered in the US. In 2020, a media study reported 95% of truck drivers had a smartphone. Do you know anyone who doesn't have a cell phone? I know I don't.
Who doesn't have a cell phone? Except my dad.
In 2017, 500 drivers in 33 states were surveyed. Half were commercial drivers and half were general drivers, all between the ages of 25 and 64. The drivers were asked if they use a cell phone while driving. Of those surveyed, 60% of commercial drivers said they have used a handheld cell phone while driving, and 39% said they have sent a text while driving their commercial vehicle. Some people can't put their cell phone down because they are afraid they may miss something important. There's a name for this fear: nomophobia, no mobile phone phobia. In other words, the fear of being without one's mobile phone. Here's your next activity.